just arrived at ICBC, so what we're going to do is I keep all the chocks in here. We're going to chalk up our wheels. I'm just going to put some gloves on. Okay, so this is us just getting ready to do the pre-trip now. We haven't started the test yet. The examiner's not here, so I'm just going to chalk up my wheels. Okay, wheels are chalked. The reason why I do that is because I have to release my brakes. So I'm going to go in here now and release my brakes, both trailer brakes and tractor brakes. And while I'm up here, I'm just going to open up the hood. Okay, at this point we would go into ICBC. We would do our registration. You're going to meet your examiner. He's going to tell you to come out to the truck, and he'll be out there in a few minutes. So when you come out to the truck, you're going to come out here. You'll be wearing this high visibility vest and some coveralls, and then we're going to explain what's in here. So in here I have my triangular flares. You want to bring it in? I have my triangular flares. I have some tools, first aid kit, a flashlight, my rag, and a pry bar. So I'm going to take my rag and my pry bar with me, and I'm going to start over on the other side. So away we go. I start on this side. When I come over here, I open the hood, and then I keep going around to the other side. Everyone seems to forget the sticker on the trailer, so I start with the sticker on the trailer. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the truck. I'm going to start here with the trailer though. The sticker, this is my safety sticker, expires November 2012. So I point that out, okay? Then I'm going to end up on the tires here, so I'm going to start forward of the tires and work my way around. So here I go. My mud flap is secure, okay? Light bracket is secure, lenses are clean, not broken. These terms are the terms you're going to want to use. My handle is secure, my steps are secure, deck plating is also secure. Okay, bracket for my light secure, lens clean, not broken. Muffler guard is secure, muffler itself is secure. My cross members here are secure. I see no new damage on the back of the tractor. Back here, this is my refrigeration unit for my trailer. It's secure. My battery box is secure. Air lines and electrical lines, no audible leaks from my air lines, no cracks or abrasions in my electrical line. And then I come down. Last thing I want to do here is I'm going to open up my fuel tank. Have a look in there. Yeah, I see fuel. It's about a quarter tank. I want to make sure that the other side is a quarter tank because they should both drain properly. As well, I want to check my fuel gauge inside the tractor to make sure it's saying a quarter of a tank. Okay, next thing I want to do is the side of the tractor. I take a step back. Whenever I start something new, I take a step back and do an overall view of the tractor. I see no new damage. My windows up top are clean, not broken. And now I move in. Lens here is clean, not broken. Mirror bracket is secure. Mirror themselves are clean, not broken. Door opens. Door closes. Another little door here. I'll open that. Inside there's a little diesel engine. It says Pro Heat. It says right on it Pro Heat. Just reach in, give it a bang. It's secure. The lines to it are secure and there's no leaks. Door closes. The boot brush is secure. Steps are secure. Okay, moving to the front. I'm going to do the engine compartment now. So I don't need my tool or my oily rag here. I'm going to crawl up. I just put a hand up here and here. Step up onto the tire and I'm up. Okay, up here I want to talk about my visor here. My visor is secure. Lenses are clean, not broken. Windshield is clean, not broken. Here I have a safety sticker, same as the one on the trailer. Expires November 2012. My windshield wipers are adequate. And an overall view of the engine compartment, I see no damage, no leaking oil. Air filter container is secure. This is my reservoir for my coolant, and it is secure and the level is adequate. Now I'm at sort of eye level, so I'm going to come down. Coming down, I just sort of step on my lug nuts here. And come down to here. Okay, pick up where I left off. My hoses here are secure. My clamps are secure. Governor, compressor, discharge line. All seem to be in proper order. There's no damage. My fan blades, the ones I can see on this side, there's no cracks. None of them are missing. The fan cowling is secure. Radiator is secure. Okay, now I'm going to start with the frame. I have no cracks in the frame. Here I have a shock. My shock is secure. While I'm talking about shocks, I'm going to go to my leaf springs because they're part of my suspension. I have no cracks in the leaf springs, and the U-bolts are all nice and tight. Okay, coming off the frame, I have a fuel filter. It's secure, and there's no leaks. Airlines. There's no audible leaks from the airline that go to the brake chamber. There's no damage to the brake chamber. My slack adjuster, I'll just check my slack adjuster. I put the tool in there, give it a pull. I have 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch play. That's within tolerance. Working my way out, inside the tire, there's no rips, tears, or bulges. Even an adequate tread across the top. There's no rips, tears, bulges on the outside. No cracks in the rim. Lug nuts are all nice and tight. No leakage under the hub, and no audible leak from the valve stem. Okay, working my way around. Bumper, secure. Okay, start the front. Like I say, I like to take a step back. So from here I can see the window up top. I say from the front of the tractor has no new damage. The window up top is clean, not broken. The hood has no new damage. Lenses here are clean, not broken. This lens here is clean, not broken. I have a valid license plate and sticker. Lens here, clean, not broken. My grill is secure. Lenses, clean, not broken. Bumper is secure. Okay, this side of the engine compartment. I've already done the top part here, so I won't go with that. We're trying to keep this under an hour. So I'm going to start with this right here. This is my foot valve. Foot valve is secure. There's no damage. There's no audible leaks from the airlines. Next thing is right underneath it is the steering column. Steering column. I can see the steering wheel in there. I'm going to give it a turn. I have no excessive play in the steering wheel. Working my way down, I have no excessive play in the U-joint and no excessive leaking from the steering box. Okay, now I'm going to do fluids. There's 5 fluids. I've done one already when I mentioned the coolant. So beside the brake, this little reservoir here, you can remember it by beside the brake is the clutch fluid. Okay, clutch fluid is adequate. Windshield washer fluid is adequate. In here, I have steering fluid. So I'm going to pull it out as soon as I find my rag. Pull out the dipstick, wipe it off, stick it in, just that far, and there's an adequate level of steering fluid. Okay, so that's 4. Next is my oil. This is my oil filler cap. Cap is secure. Oil is here. I'll wipe it off and check it. This engine holds 34 liters of oil, and 4 show on the stick. So we'll just stick that in there, pull it out, and our oil level is adequate. Okay, back in we go. So there's 5 fluids. All our fluids are done. Okay, this side of the engine. Okay, this side of the engine, my wiring harness is all hooked up nicely. That's all out of the way. My alternator, generator are secure. Belts are proper tension. Fan blades, there's no cracks or none missing. Fan cowling is secure, and radiator is secure. Okay, frame. I have no cracks in the frame, same as the other side. Shocks are secure. I have a steering arm on this side which is secure. No cracks in the leaf springs. U-bolts are all nice and tight. Airlines coming out of the frame. There's no audible leaks. There's no damage to my brake pot. Again, same with this other side. I'll check the slack adjuster. 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch play, which is within tolerance. Next, inside the tires. Inside the tires, there's no rips, tears, bulges. Even an adequate tread across the top of the tire. There's no rips, tears, or bulges on the outside. No cracks in the rim. Lug nuts are all nice and tight. There's no leakage from the hub, and no audible leak from the valve stem. Okay, so this side of the tractor, again, I'm going to take a step back. Overall view of this side of the tractor, I don't see any new damage. Windows are clean, not broken. Here we have a lens, clean, not broken. My mirror bracket is secure. Lenses are clean, not broken. Door opens. I have a fire extinguisher inside. Fire extinguisher is secure. and charged. Okay? We don't want to forget the fire extinguisher, especially because it says fire extinguisher inside. So don't forget the fire extinguisher. Another door in here I'm going to open. I've got batteries. Battery cables are all connected. Mounts are secure. No corrosion. Everything looks great in there. Door closes. Boot brush is secure. Steps are secure. Okay, working my way back. I've already told you what's in here, so I'm not going to worry about that. My lens bracket here is secure. My lens is clean, not broken. Handle secure. My steps are secure. Deck plate is secure. Muffler guard secure. Muffler itself secure. Bracket secure. Lens clean, not broken. I've already done the rest of it up here, so I'll come down. The only thing I have left is open up the fuel tank. Same amount of fuel on this side as the other side, so my crossover is working. Both tanks should drain the same, and I'll check the gauge inside the truck, make sure it says quarter tank. Okay, working back here, my mud flap is secure. Next thing are tires. Well, wheels. What I'm going to talk about here first, though, is fifth wheel. This is called the fifth wheel. Right here is a locking pin. I can slide the fifth wheel along these teeth. I can move it forward and back. This is the pin that locks it. I want to mention that it's in and locked right now. Okay, so my fifth wheel pin is in and locked. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the frame. There's no cracks in the frame, and then behind the tires here there's leaf springs. Okay, so check your leaf springs and make sure that they're not cracked. Okay. Okay, after I'm done inside there, I'm going to do both sets of tires at the same time. So I go from in the middle here, and I look at both sets. Inside the tire, there's no rips, tears, or bulges. Even and adequate tread across both, nothing caught in between. And then I'll go to one tire. Outside this tire, there's no rips, tears, or bulges, no cracks in the rim, lug nuts are all nice and tight, no leakage from the hub, no audible leak from the valve stem. This tire is done exactly the same. Okay? Rips, tears, bulges on the outside, no cracks in the rim, lug nuts are all tight, no leakage from the hub, no audible leak from the valve stem. Okay, carrying on. Going on the back of the tractor now. My mud flap, secure. Lenses here are all secure. License plate is there. Lenses here are secure. Mud flap is secure. Going through this way. Okay, which brings me to the tires on this side. These are done exactly the same way. First thing I'm going to mention is my fifth wheel slider pin is in and locked. No cracks in the frame. Leaf springs, there's no cracks in my leaf, so I'm going to get right in here and look at the leaf springs. Okay, and there's no cracks in the leaf springs. My U-bolts are all nice and tight. And then I work my way out. Inside the tires, no rips, tears, bulges. Even and adequate tread on the outside. Nothing caught in between the tires. I have no rips, tears, bulges on the outside. No cracks in the rim. Lug nuts are all nice and tight. No leakage from the hub. No audible leak from the valve stem. This tire is exactly the same. So, now I'm back to the beginning. This is where I started. So that's completely around the truck. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go under the truck. Okay? So, I start under here. I don't know how you're going to just kind of follow me along here. Okay, first thing, I come to our airbags. Airbags are inflated. Here, maybe I'll take it. Okay. Okay, first thing I'm seeing here are airbags. There they are, which are inflated. The next thing, no, that's not going to work here. You do it with me, because it's all upside down. Okay, ready? Coming under here, after the airbags, I have some shocks. Shocks are secure. This big round thing here is a differential. I have no leaks from my differential. Okay, still going under. Next thing, I have some U-joint. I'm going to give it a shake. I have no excessive play in my U-joint. Drive shaft. I have no excessive play in the drive shaft. My airlines have no audible leaks. No damage to my brake pots. I have my slack adjusters. I'm just going to check my slack adjuster now. 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch on that side. 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch on that side. Okay, moving forward, next axle. First thing again are my airbags. Airbags are inflated. Drive shaft. No excessive play in the drive shaft. Going forward. Differential. I have no leaks from my differential. Shocks are secure. Going forward again. Drive shaft. No excessive play in the drive shaft or the U-joint. No audible leaks from my air lines. Brake chambers are not damaged. Slack adjusters. I'll just check my slack adjuster. 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch on that side. And 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch on that side. Okay, still moving forward.
Let me come around.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Okay, coming forward here. Drive shaft, no excessive play. And I'm going to turn around, I'm going to look forward. I see no leaks on the ground from the engine, the transmission, or the fuel tanks. Fuel tanks have 3 straps. They're all strapped up and secure. And that's it for under here. Then I'm coming up. You don't want to be a fat guy here, let me tell you. Okay, so there I am. I'm all dirty now from being underneath the truck. I might as well go underneath the trailer next. Grab my rag and get all the, I'll go under the trailer and get all the dirty crap over with. Okay. So, first thing I see here, airbags are inflated, shocks are secure. Okay, under I go. Leaf springs. Leaf springs, U-bolts, all nice and tight. This side, leaf springs, U-bolts tight. No damage to the axle. Slack adjuster. Just gonna put this in here. Okay, 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch play on that side. And this side, also 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch play within tolerance. Okay, moving forward. The undercarriage of the trailer here, there's no damage. I have air lines here with no audible leaks. Brake pots, no damage. Air tanks, no audible leaks. Front axle, no damage. Brake pots, no damage to the brake pots. I'll just check my slack adjusters. 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch there. And 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch on this one within tolerance. Okay, moving forward.
I'm going to come around the other side.
Okay. Leaf springs on the front axle, no cracks, U-bolts are nice and tight, both sides. Okay, then I'm coming out. I look forward. There's no damage to the cross members. Air lines. My air lines here are tucked up and out of the way, and electrical lines are all tucked up as well. And then I'm coming out. Okay, I'm going to walk right over to the examiner, and I'm going to tell him that the slack adjusters on the truck are automatic, but there are manual slack adjusters on the truck. If I had to make an adjustment, I would get my 9/16 wrench. I would push in the locking sleeve. I would turn it so that it turns the same direction as the S-cam. I'd turn it till I feel resistance, and then I'd back it off 1/2 to 3/4 of a turn. I'd check it. If it wasn't right, another 1/2 to 3/4 of a turn, and check it again. Okay, shut off. Okay, so we've done all the way around the truck and under the truck, and I've just finished doing under the trailer. So my next thing I want to do is around the trailer. So we'll start on this side. Okay. First of all, front of the trailer. Take a step back. Front of the trailer. I see no damage to the front of the trailer. Lens up top is clean, not broken. Okay, and I'm going to go to the side. I like to take a step back. Okay, overall view of the side of the trailer. There's no new damage. My clearance lenses up top are clean, not broken. I've red and right reflective tape down 50% of the trailer, which is required by law. And now I can start moving in and touching things. Okay, my lens here is clean, not broken. Coming back here, landing gear. Landing gear is secure. Foot is secure. I'm going to want to see it go up and down. So landing gear goes down, both sides. Landing gear comes up, both sides. Handle is secure. Coming down here. Lens is here. Clean, not broken. Placard holder is secure. Coming down here, I have some tires, okay? Just like the ones up front, I'm going to stick my head in. Now, I can move these tires back and forth. They can slide. If you look under here, there's a rail with all the holes in it. So I can move the wheels along this hole. What stops it is, right here there's a pin, and forward there's a pin. There's one up forward there as well. Okay, so that's what I'm going to start with. First thing is, I call them my slider pins, are in and locked. Okay? Then I'm going to go in and talk about the frame. Frame is not cracked, and same as the truck tires, inside the tires there's no rips, tears, or bulges. Even an adequate tread on the top, nothing caught in between the tires. There's no rips, tears, or bulges on the outside, no cracks in the rim, lug nuts are all nice and tight, no leakage from the hub, no audible leak from the valve stem. And that's the tires. That front one would be the same. I would do the front one as well, okay? So, moving back here, mud flap is secure, my door holder opener thing is secure, my lens here is clean, not broken. Next thing is the back. I take a step back, overall view of the back of the trailer, I see no new damage. Lenses up top are all clean, not broken. Lenses here are clean, not broken. This side as well, clean, not broken. My door opens, my load is secure, door closes. Bumper is secure, I have a valid license plate, and I'm moving around to the side here. Okay, overall view, I'll take a step back. Overall view of this side of the trailer, I have no new damage. Lenses up top are clean, not broken. My brake press is up to date on 50% trailer. And in here, lenses are clean, not broken. Mud flap is secure. Door handle opener is secure. Again here, I'm going to do slider pins. Okay, slider pins are in and locked, both front and back. No damage to the frame. And then I start inside the tires. There's no rips, tears, bulges. Even an adequate tread on the outside. Nothing caught in between the tires. No rips, tears, bulges on the outside. No cracks in the rim. Lug nuts are all nice and tight. No leakage from the valve stem. And no leakage from the hub. And I would kick the tires, make sure they're all inflated, which I didn't do with the truck, so remember to do that. Okay, so tires are inflated. Okay, walking up here, lens, clean, not broken. This lens, clean, not broken. Placard holder secure. This is my fuel tank for my refrigeration unit. It's secure. Landing gear, secure. Foot is secure. Lens here is clean, not broken. Lens up top at the front is clean, not broken. I keep my insurance and registration in this tube, and that pretty much does the trailer. Okay, last thing I want to do on the outside here is I want to do lights. I'm going to go and start up the truck. Signal light on and my high beams. Okay. Okay, we're doing lights now. So, my top clearance lights are on, my high beams are on. I'll tell you, the high beams are on if the floodlights are on the bottom, okay? So that's how you say it. High beam, my right running light, left signal light, and fog lights are on. And then I head down the side. Auxiliary lights, 1, 2 on the other side, 1 on the back, they're all working. Step back, lights across the top are all working, I have a left turn signal light, I have a rear tail light, and a license plate light all working. Carrying on, signal light here is working. Clearance light here is working. Coming to the back. Clearance lights up top are working. Left signal light's working. Right tail light's working. And license plate light is working. Okay, back up to the tractor. Okay, so now I'm finished with these backup lights. I'll turn these off now just so I don't forget them later. Now I want to check the other side of the truck. So I'm just going to open up the door. I'm going to put on the right signal light, low beam, and I'm going to turn off my auxiliary lights. I don't need those anymore. And I'm going to come up to the front. Okay, I don't want to mention anything that I've mentioned before. So I'm going to start with my low beams are on, my left running light is on, my right signal light is on. And then I start down the right side. Set that, lights are on the top. Coming down here, clearance lights on here. Rocker. I have my right turn signal light and my tail light is working. Working our way back. Signal light here is working. And clearance light is working. Coming back here, right signal light is working, left tail light is working. Okay, at this point now you'd ask the examiner if he could stay back here. You're going to go make 2 brake applications, one for the truck and one for the trailer, if he could tell you if the brake lights are coming on. So we'll leave him back here. You can come with me. So again, you don't have to jump in or anything. Just going to go back to the tractor. Application with the examiner back behind the trailer. Push on the brake. I'll go, yeah, they're working. I'm going to wait till he walks around to the back of the truck. Push on it again. You see the brake lights go on the truck. He's going to say, that's great. And that's it. Okay, so that's it for the outside of the trailer. The next thing I want to do is I want to go in and do my in-cab pre-trip and my air pre-trip. Now, first thing for the air pre-trip is I want to drain my wet tank. So I'm going to go up and shut the truck off. And you want to shut this door. Actually, I don't need my four-way flashers anymore, or signal lights, or headlights. So I turn off all my lights. Okay, my wet tank is under this step. You always want to shut the door, because when you go to stand up, boy, that leaves a big mark. Okay, I have 3 tanks under here. Only one of them has a ring. So if you grab the ring and you pull it forward. Okay, I'm draining the wet tank because of 2 reasons. One is I want to get rid of all the moisture and contaminants that are in the tank. And the other is I want to check my one-way check valve. The air comes from the compressor to the wet tank, to the primary, to the secondary. I want to make sure that it doesn't leak back from the primary back into the wet tank. So I drain all the air out of the wet tank, and when I release it for a minute, nothing should come back into it. So I'll just wait till it's empty here. Takes a little bit of time. Okay, there, my tank is empty. I have no air coming out of it. I'm going to release it now. Just give it a couple seconds. If my one-way check valve is working, there should be no air going back into it. So when I pull it again, nothing should happen. So I'll pull it again, nothing happens. My one-way check valve is working. Next thing I do is I go inside and I do my in-cab and my air pre-trip. Okay, shut it off. Okay, coming in now, I'm going to do my air pre-trip and my in-cab pre-trip. So I'll tell the examiner I'm just going to start the truck up so I can build up my air. In the wet tank I just drained. And in the meantime, I'd like to do my in-cab pre-trip. So I like to start at the top. There's a switch over here, first switch beside the steering wheel. I turn that on, and that'll be my dome lights up top. Okay? So I start at the top with my dome lights are on. Okay, I work down to my compartments here, my compartments. There's nothing in it that's going to become a projectile. Everything is secure. Next thing is my compartments here. The doors are all secure. In this one, I have my registration and insurance. Okay, and then there's nothing really under here. So now I go to the side. Okay, I work with the buttons here. You don't have to mention the buttons, but you're gonna. First thing is the first one's adjust the mirror. So you're gonna tell them that the mirrors are adjusted properly. The next one are the windows. So you're gonna say windows go up, windows go down. Next one is the door. Door opens. You're gonna get the examiner to open his door and close. Okay, lights. Lights go on, lights go off. You'll get the examiner on that side to do his as well. Next back there is the seat belt. Okay, you're going to get the seat belt. You'll get the examiner to get his. Make sure it clicks in and clicks out. Okay, seat belt will give you a hint on what's next. And that'll be the seat. So the seat is adjusted properly. The next thing I'm going to move forward is the steering wheel. The steering wheel is adjusted properly. Now we'll do things on the steering wheel. Horns work. Windshield wipers work. Okay. And then I'm going down to buttons, or the dash. Okay, so I'm going to go here. The farthest one to the left is my four-way flashers. Four-way flashers are done inside the cab because the same circuit that makes them flash here is the one that makes them flash outside. So if they're flashing here, they're flashing outside. Okay, so that's it. Four-way flashers are working. Then I'm moving up to my dash. 3 dials I want to mention. One is fuel. Right, remember I said I wanted to check, make sure it was around 1/4 of a tank, which it is. The next thing is fuel pressure. Okay, my fuel pressure is at 30 psi. I want to check that. And battery. Down here, before you start it, there's a battery light that comes on. If everything's working properly, the battery light goes off. So you group those together. You're going to say my fuel, my voltage, oil pressure are all working normally. The rest of the dials are all working properly. Okay. Then we're going to come across. We're going to do our air pre-trip in a minute. He doesn't much care what radio station you listen to. And switches. Switches. These switches are all in their proper position, as well as these switches are all in their proper position. Now moving this way. Fan. We can hear that the fan works. We have it in defrost. Get your hands up here. Check defrost. Check downstairs. Downstairs works. Upstairs. Upstairs works. Fan off. Okay? Keep working this way. This is my dash. Dim lights. So, lights, dash lights are working, dimmer switch is working, okay? And then I'm done. So, again, recap. Where we start is at the top. I go with dome lights first. Work my way down to compartments, okay? Then lights. Then these compartments with insurance and registration. Then there's nothing. Over here, mirrors are adjusted, windows are adjusted, door opens and closes. Seat belt works. Seat is adjusted. Steering wheel is adjusted. Horns work. Windshield wipers work. Four-way flashers, fuel, voltage, and oil pressure all working normally. Rest all working properly. Switches, proper position. Fan works. Defrost, downstairs, upstairs. Dash lights work. Dimmer switch works. End of in-cab pre-trip. Next thing I'd like to do is I'd like to do my air pre-trip. So, first thing I want to do for my air pre-trip is I want to make sure that my governor is working. I want to make sure that my governor puts my compressor into a loaded state. Right now it's in an unloaded state, it's not doing anything. So, before the compressor will start, I have to lose at least 15 psi. I'm going to fan down the brakes to 90 psi. Okay, here they go. These are my dials here. They're down to 90 psi. Now, at a high idle between 1,000 and 1,200, I see the needle starting to rise. That tells me that the governor has put my compressor into a loaded position. So now I want to make sure that it goes into an unloaded position. That'll happen at just above 120 psi, so I'm going to continue with the high idle and wait and see if it goes into an unloaded position. So these are my needles now. They've stopped moving up. I've settled down just over 120. That tells me that the governor has put the compressor back into an unloaded state. So my governor is working properly. The next thing I want to check is that I have a low air alarm. I'm going to fan down the brakes until I get one. I should get one somewhere just above 60 psi. So away I go. Fanning down the brakes. There they go. There we go. I have an audible alarm as well as a visual alarm. And now I'm going to continue fanning down the brakes to see if my tractor protection valve works, and my trailer brake should dynamite between 25 and 45 psi. So I keep moving them down. Boom. Trailer brakes dynamite. Now I want to do a build-up test between 50 and 90 in under 3 minutes. At a high idle, between 1,000 and 1,200, I see my needles rising. There you go. Now, as soon as my low air warning comes off, I want to reach over and release my brakes, because all I've done so far is filled up the tanks, but now I've supplied air back to the trailer. I want to make sure that all of that builds up to 90 in under 3 minutes. Again, I'm watching them build. There they are at 90. So they went from 50 to 90 in well under 3 minutes. Okay, the next thing I want to do is I want to do a leak test. So, best thing for a leak test is to shut the engine off. Okay, I have a windows rolled down. I make a 90-pound brake application. I'm going to hold it for 1 minute. I can't lose any more than 4 psi, 3 psi without a trailer, 6 psi with 2 trailers after my initial brake application. So I'm going to hold that for 1 minute. I listen outside to see if I hear any air leaks. I don't hear anything. We'll just say a minute's up. I haven't lost any more than 4 psi. So my leak test works. Now I want to go outside and I want to make all of this happen in real life. So I'm going to go and make an airline brake, and all of this stuff should happen. So let's go outside. You can go that way if you want. We're going to go to the back of the tractor. Okay, here we are at the back of the tractor. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pop off the supply line, and that'll act just like an airline brake. So it'll just be like an airline brake, and what should happen is my tractor protection valve, which is right here, should stop the air from being supplied to the trailer between 25 and 45 psi. My brake should also dynamite on the trailer. So I'm going to pull this off, and this will simulate an airline brake. So there's my air leaking out. Again, it should be going down. My low air warning should be coming on. Boom, it's down to 25 to 40. Tractor protection valve has shut off the air to the trailer and saved me air for the tractor so that I can still drive it. I'm going to lay this down here. I'm going to take off the blue line, lay it down. Now I've got to go in and make sure that all those things happen visually. So what should have happened is my brake should have dynamited on the trailer, which means my red button should be out. So I'll look in here. Sure enough, there it is, my red button's popped out. I also got to go and visually check that my brakes have dynamited, so I'm going to walk down here. How I'm going to tell that the brakes are on is my slack adjusters will be at a 90 degrees, just like that, not in. Okay, so that will be applied. Okay, so I look down here, I see my slack adjusters, and they are at 90 degrees. Okay, so back up to the tractor now. Now I just want to do one more leak test that my tractor protection valve is not going to let air out of the glad hands to the trailer when I disconnect. So I'm going to make a brake application, and I shouldn't hear any air leaking out of the air lines. So here we go, brake application. No air leak. My tractor protection valve is working great. So I'm going to hook back up my air lines now. Okay, next thing I want to do is my tug test. So to do that, I want to make sure that my brakes are applied on the tractor, because I'm going to pull out my chocks. I want to make sure that my yellow button is out. Set my brakes on the tractor. Okay, shut off a minute. Yeah. Okay, pull the chocks out from under the tires. Chocks go back in here. And now I'm going to do my tug test. Okay, shut her off. I'm going to find my early rag. Okay, coming in the truck, all I have left to do now are my tug tests. going to start up the truck. Put on my seatbelt. Now there's 2 tug tests and 2 brake responses. So it goes in the order of yellow button, red button, hand valve, foot valve. So my brakes are all on, everything is out. First thing I'm going to do is push in my yellow button. So now all I have on is my trailer brakes. I'm just going to tug against those. And they're holding, okay? Now yellow button out, red button in. Now I'm going to try my tractor brakes. I'm going to tug against those. Those seem to be working. Now both buttons in. Next thing is my hand valve. Now these are brake responses. I'm going to actually move, clutch in, hit the brake. Those are working. Okay. Next one is my foot valve. Again, I'm going to move, clutch in, foot valve is working. Then neutral, apply my brakes, and I'm going to fill out my pre-trip report. Okay. The sheet's going to look exactly like this, except without the footprints. Your driver's license number will already be there. You're going to fill in it's a pre-trip inspection. The tractor number is number 1, and you're going to get the odometer reading off the dash, and it is in kilometers. Okay? You're going to put in whether you found a defect or not. In this case, I did find a defect, so I found the following defects as noted below. Okay? This top part here is for the tractor. This bottom part here is for the trailer. Now, I noticed that the lights and reflectors on the right side of the trailer at the top weren't working. So starboard side upper clearance lights not working in remarks. Then sign, date, time, AM or PM. If you have no issues with it, then you would check off this box. I detected no defect or deficiency in this commercial vehicle, and you wouldn't have to fill in the remarks or any little boxes, just sign, date, time. This bottom one down here is if now I took the trailer to the shop and they fixed it, the mechanic would put in here the above defects were corrected. He would sign, date, time, AM or PM, or if he didn't think you needed them, the above defects need not be corrected for safe operation of the vehicle, in which case he would sign that, date that, which leaves you off the hook. And there it is, pre-trip done. Good.